Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm TJ Harman here on YouTube, overrated_row on Twitter. This is week 2 of my NFL weekly picks for the 2017-2018 NFL season. Before I go on with my week 2 against the spread, over, unders, and straight up, I want to commend the first responders who get people out of harm's way during Hurricane Irma down there in Florida. There was a few people that I knew down there that did have to evacuate. Trust me, there was quite a few storm surge, and it's a devastation that you can replace a lot of things, but there's something you can't replace, and that is life. So I commend the first responders and everybody who's helping out. We're just grateful that wasn't no more people who were inundated with Irma's wrath. So, you'll get Florida, we'll get Southeast Texas back together again. So, we're praying for you and Godspeed. Let's recap week 1 of my picks. My video picks, I went 3-0 overall straight up. I went 3-0 overall in my against the spread. The only boo-boo I had was the Green Bay Packers and Seahawks game going over the 50.5 points. It stayed under, so I went 2-1 over under. Not a bad week. I went 10-5 overall 10-5 overall straight up. I went 8-6 against the spread. Let's see if we can get a clean sweep of my video picks this week. Let's get it. The first game we're going to look at is the Houston Texans traveling to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Both teams lost a couple days ago, and both teams looked very, very sluggish. Even though the Houston Texans did score points, and the Bengals did absolutely nothing. I mean, there is an excuse for Houston because they were all part of that Hurricane Harvey recovery, and just the team wasn't there when they played the Jacksonville Jaguars, who shocked the systems out of the Texans. So hopefully this will not be no reoccurrence, what they didn't do at home on the road to Cincinnati. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, I had to win over the Ravens as I changed my pick, but I should not have done that because should have just kept the Ravens pick alone because they did absolutely nothing. Dalton, sloppy at times, like I be telling y'all in past few videos that I be telling about the Bengals. I just don't trust Dalton, and I really don't trust him in this game, but, Texans is coming up to do what they have to do from Houston to Cincinnati. So they play strong, and they're going to start Deshaun Watson in quarterback. So I don't know what Andy Dalton team going to do. Take the Houston Texans +5 over the Cincinnati Bengals. The second game we're going to look at is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites at home at Arrowhead Stadium. Meanwhile, it's teacher versus student, as Doug Peterson, who was assistant head coach for the Chiefs when Andy Reid still is the coach of Kansas City, makes their debut together. Last time the Andy Reid and the Chiefs beat the Eagles was back in Philadelphia on a Monday night affair when Chip Kelly and crew couldn't get the job done with Jamal Charles and Andy Reid just taking over that game. I know you guys remember that because it just kind of hurt me. This is going to be a fun game to really, really watch because Carson Wentz was a Houdini magician with those Washington Redskins last week, and just unbelievable. Can he possibly do that again on the road? I will hope he don't do what he was doing, giving up 2 interceptions, but you want to throw interceptions, he's got to make great decisions. Still, he did beat the Redskins in convincing fashion. And meanwhile, Kansas City shocked the defending champions on a Thursday night affair. So Kareem Hunt doing what he had to do in his NFL debut and running back, and he also received. So it was a lot that he did. They made the Patriots, Alex Smith made him look like a clone of freaking Tom Brady, and I will hope that that won't happen again at home with Kansas City and their loud, thunderous crowd. So, woo! I want to pick a winner. I like my Eagles to win, but they got some injury bugs. Jason Peters, who injured his groin, he may play. Ronald Darby, who suffered a dislocated ankle, he's not going to play. They may go with Corey Graham. They're like really short-handed on cornerback, so we'll see what happens. And they also need a kicker. Caleb Sturgis, he's out with a hip flexor, and I think we'll know probably today or tomorrow who the Eagles are going to get as their place kicker until Sturgis come back in several more weeks. So, don't want to be biased on my own team, but I think Kansas City may take those points. Tell you to take the Chiefs -4.5 at home against my Philadelphia Eagles. And the third game we're going to look at is going to be the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. The Steelers are 7-point favorites at home. While the Vikings did what they had to do to win a Monday night game last night, a big Monday night game, by beating the Saints, I believe the score was 29-19, maybe it was 29-16, somewhere around there. Adrian Peterson absolutely did not look like the Adrian Peterson of years past, so that's why the Vikings do well at home. Now, when they're on the road, they're not too good, especially in an environment like Pittsburgh. So, not too sure Bradford is going to have that same type of game he had with New Orleans against Pittsburgh on Sunday. I really don't know. But they're going to make this close because Pittsburgh, LaVavian Bell, he did absolutely nothing in that win against the Browns. And that was a 3-point win for the Steelers. It should have been more because you're facing a Browns team who you always dominate, but it's always kind of close. So LaVavian Bell got to step it up this week. Antonio Brown don't need to be doing too much. Give the ball to Martavius Bryant or even a new guy. Not JJ, but TJ Watt, JJ Watt's brother. In his debut, he had 2 sacks plus interception. He did great, so the Steelers need a guy like him. But in the game, the Vikings are going to make it close because Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen and that running back of theirs, Dalvin Cook, they're going to make things happen on that Pittsburgh defense. So 7 points is not that much. It's going to be close. I'm going to tell you to take the Minnesota Vikings +7 over the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. Now my over-under, let's go back to the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. Point total in that game is 38 points. I'm not sure what you're going to get out of this. Deshaun Watson didn't do too much after Tom Savage went all over the field and did absolutely nothing but fumble, and Watson fumbled himself. Andy Dalton, he got to get his team together because, like I said, the end of his era in Cincinnati is very close, and I think Marvin Lewis's era in Cincinnati is going to be finished after this season as well. 38 points is not a lot of points, and I don't think they're even going to make it that high. So the Bengals and the Texans keep the points under 38. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs game, the point total is 47.5. 42 points is what the Chiefs scored last week against the Patriots, and the Eagles scoring 30 points against the Washington Redskins. That's a lot of points, but this may be a defensive battle between Reed's defense and Peterson's defense. So I'm going to tell you to take 47.5. Keep it under because it could go maybe at least 40 or 42 points because I don't think Kansas City is going to score 42 points against the Eagles. Don't think so. So keep it under 47.5 points. And in the final game, the Minnesota Vikings and Pittsburgh Steelers, the point total is also 47.5 points. Pittsburgh didn't do too much against the Browns, and Vikings did what they had to do. This is going to be another type of defensive battle. I wouldn't be surprised if it go over 47.5 points. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to keep it 47.5 points. Keep it under in that particular game, Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings. Now here are my straight up picks for those games. Let's start with the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. As I said, both teams are 0-1, but somebody got to come out as a winner in this one. With Deshaun Watson starting, he's still a rookie. I think that Bengals defense is going to really annihilate him. Even though the Bengals defense could not do anything to that Ravens offense, that's why the point total is going to be so low. The game's going to be so low. It could be maybe like a 21-13 or 21-14 kind of game. We'll just have to see what happens. And Andy Dalton got to get it together with that team. They should have scored against the Ravens. They did not. I think they will get some points in this game. So the Bengals are at home and they are the favorites. So the Texans are going to get those points, to be honest with you, because I think the Texans are going to go out there and do their best, but I think the Bengals will pull out this win at home against the Texans on Sunday afternoon. The second game is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs look very, very good against the Patriots. I mean, they shocked the defending Super Bowl champions at Foxborough. I did not even expect that because I picked the Patriots to win that game. But they're not going to score 42 points again. That's just not going to happen to that Eagles defense, which is kind of suspect because they need a cornerback, like I mentioned before. So they're going to make it really, really close. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they do score points. As you see, Nelson Aguilar scoring 2 touchdowns for the Eagles on Sunday against the Redskins. So Carson Wentz got to keep that magic going, but he got to watch out for the interception because they're looking at the film. Kareem Hunt is who the Eagles need to be focused on. Don't forget Travis Kelce, and definitely don't forget Tyreek Hill, because with those three together, oh my goodness, they're going to make magic on that field in Kansas City. Andy Reid hates to lose like he did with the Eagles, but seems to do well when he plays against the Eagles. So I want the Eagles to win, but they're in Kansas City and they got so much things on their backs, over their shoulders right now with some injuries. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to beat my Philadelphia Eagles in a tight one, and we'll just see what happens. Chiefs to beat the Eagles at Arrowhead. And the final straight-up game, the Pittsburgh Steelers at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings can score points, look out for that. But Pittsburgh, I think Le'Veon Bell may run over that Minnesota Vikings defense. We'll see what happens. It's not going to be a shot that Bradford may goof off on the road in Pittsburgh, because it seemed like he does well at home, just like he did last season, but just couldn't get the job done on the road. And they went 5-0, and I see they're going to have some struggles on the road again. So I think the Steelers will win at home. They'll go 2-0. It may not be a blowout. It may be a close game. So take the Steelers to beat the Minnesota Vikings in Hinesville on Sunday. Here are the rest of my picks for week number 2. Check it out. And that will do it for this edition of my NFL Weekly Picks for Week 2 of the 2017-2018 NFL season. I'm TG Harman here on YouTube, __ on Twitter. If you like this video, please click and subscribe. Give me the thumbs up. Come back each and every week. This is what I do. Give you my picks. You can also check out my YouTube Prognosticators Facebook page to give you all the details on upcoming games, as well as some injury notes or even some fantasy picks. So check out them. The link is down below the description box. Shouts go to my boy Andrew Warren, also Gio knows, as well as Bridgewater's Finest, Logan, Matt, and Stephen Coleman, aka Half Moon. If I missed you guys this week, I'll definitely shout you out next week. Good luck with your picks. If you want to pick who you win this week, post your comments down. Please subscribe and come back again next week for week 3 of my NFL Weekly Picks. Thanks for watching this week, and I'll see you right back here next week. Later.